statements in the Kilpatrick corruption trial as defense attorneys for Bernard Kilpatrick and Bobby Ferguson argued to the jury that having a relationship with the mayor is no crime. They also said they've been lied to by some of the government witnesses. 7 Action News investigator Heather Cataldo. This case has gone on for so long now. It sounds like it was an emotional day in court for some of those people there, Heather.
Yeah. Yes, it was very emotional. Attorney Gerald Evelyn was moved to tears as he quoted Martin Luther King Jr. in his closing arguments. It was a very powerful closing argument. The jury was absolutely riveted, and the defense ended on a very powerful note. The jury was riveted as attorneys for Bobby Ferguson and Bernard Kilpatrick walked them through the complicated Kilpatrick corruption case, arguing that there was no corruption. Veteran defense attorney Gerald Evelyn grew emotional and teared up as he made his final plea to the jury, asking them not to bow to outside pressure, but to instead look at the evidence, or in his words, lack of evidence against Ferguson.
It's a challenging case for me and challenging case for everybody, and it's taken a lot of energy and effort.
Evelyn said the government and the media have demonized Ferguson and former Detroit Mayor Kwame Kilpatrick and argued that several witnesses have lied to save themselves. Evelyn walked the jury through every contract that federal prosecutors say Ferguson either rigged or extorted other contractors for, showing them evidence that Ferguson actually did the work for the money he was paid. He said the Detroit Water and Sewerage Department issued $5.6 billion in contracts during the Kilpatrick administration, but only 9 of them are at issue in this case. Evelyn said, ask yourself if it makes sense to call that a criminal enterprise.
We put our heart and soul into this case, and we believe in what we're doing. And the words that he quoted from Martin Luther King are apropos, just like his reference to the jurors to be a profile in courage, because they have to resist all the outside pressures that are out there and that have been brewing in this town for 5, 6, 7, 8 years.
Earlier in the day, Bernard Kilpatrick's lawyer, John Shea, told the jury there's nothing illegal about being a consultant, and it's not against the law to be related to Detroit's former mayor. Shea spent about 2 hours pointing out discrepancies in the testimony of key government witnesses, including Carl Cato, who claimed Bernard Kilpatrick extorted him. Shea called Cato's testimony complete theater, saying Cato admitted he owed Kilpatrick money for consulting work. Shea reminded the jury that when Bernard Kilpatrick was seen on an undercover FBI videotape asking for $5,000, the government's witness, James Rosendahl, agreed that the $5 grand was for an unpaid invoice for consulting work. It did seem like some of the jurors were quite moved by the emotion today, but remember that the government gets the final say in this case. Assistant U.S. Attorney Mark Chutko will do the rebuttal. That happens tomorrow morning. You can bet he's going to have a lot of counterpoints to a lot of the issues that the defense has raised over the last couple of days. Of course, we'll bring you all of the latest developments as this case gets handed to the jury. That is expected to finally happen tomorrow. We'll bring you the latest from federal court then. Reporting live in downtown Detroit, I'm Heather Cataldo, 7 Action News.